The screen didn't just break. It opened. A sharp scream ripped through the theater as the giant movie screen split down the middle, glowing blue like a wound made of light. Wires snapped. Glass fell. The floor shook so hard people fell out of their seats. Then a face pushed through the opening. White mask. Red cheeks. A smile that did not move. The animatronic climbed out of the screen and dropped into the aisle with a heavy crash. Its eyes turned on, bright blue, scanning the crowd. On the torn screen behind it, glowing words appeared for 1 second. Sister Location 6, only in cinemas, December 31st. The words vanished. The exit doors slammed shut. Locked. The animatronic lifted its head and spoke in a soft, happy voice. Welcome to the final show. The lights went out. And a countdown began. 6 hours earlier, everything felt exciting. December 31st was the last night of the year. Fireworks were planned. Everyone was talking about the special movie that was only playing in theaters for one night. Sister Location 6. No streaming. No trailers online. No second chance. Ethan checked his phone as he walked toward the theater with his friends. This is crazy. They're really doing it one night only. Yeah, said Lucas. If you miss it, that's it. Mia hugged her jacket tighter. Why does that make it scarier? Because it feels real, said Olivia. The theater sat at the end of the street, old and quiet. The sign flickered blue and white. Some letters didn't work. The building looked darker than the rest of the block. Ethan slowed down. This place looks different. You're overthinking it, Lucas said, but he didn't sound sure. Inside, the lobby was quiet. No music. No ads on the screens. Just the sound of the lights buzzing overhead. A woman stood at the ticket counter. She didn't smile. 4 tickets, Ethan said. She slid them across the counter slowly. Screen 6, she said. Once the movie starts, please remain seated. Mia frowned. Why? For your safety, the woman replied. That made Ethan's stomach twist. They walked into the theater. It was half full. Teens whispering. A few adults sitting alone. Everyone seemed excited, but nervous too. The lights were already dim. Lucas leaned over. See? Normal. The movie didn't start with previews. It started with a black screen. A soft beeping sound filled the room. Beep. 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 A digital clock appeared. 11:59 p.m. Ethan felt his heart beat faster. The clock changed. 12 a.m. The movie began. At first, it was slow. A clean white room. A stage. A voice talking about safety rules. Animatronics standing still, smiling. Too still. 10 minutes passed. Then a man stood up near the front. Is the sound supposed to be this loud? The movie froze. The theater lights flickered blue. The man laughed. Okay, very funny. The exit doors slammed shut. Hard. People gasped. Someone tried the door. Locked. The screen went black. White words appeared. No leaving. No pausing. Ethan pulled out his phone. No signal. Mia whispered. Ethan. I don't like this. The speakers crackled. A cheerful voice said, Please stay calm. Behind them, something moved. Metal scraped softly across the floor. Lucas turned around. Did you hear that? Before anyone could answer, a loud bang hit the ceiling. Dust fell onto the seats. A vent near the aisle began to shake. The screen flickered back on. The clock now read 12:07 a.m. The movie continued, but the sounds felt wrong. Footsteps sounded closer than the screen showed. Breathing felt real, like it was behind them. The vent burst open. Something fell out. A metal arm hit the floor and twitched. Wires sparked blue. People screamed. The arm dragged itself forward, fingers scraping loudly. Then the screen opened. And the animatronic climbed out. Now, back in the present, the animatronic stood in the aisle, taller than the seats. Its body was smooth and white, but cracked in places. Its smile never changed. The emergency lights flickered on, bathing everything in cold blue. Ethan whispered, "This isn't a movie." The animatronic turned its head toward him. Like it heard him. The speakers crackled again. "Night 1, the cheerful voice said. "Please follow instructions." The animatronic took a step forward. People ran. Seats flipped. Someone fell. Someone screamed and went quiet. Ethan grabbed Mia's hand. "Run!" They ran toward the side aisle. Lucas and Olivia followed close behind. They reached the exit door. Ethan pushed it. It didn't move. Behind them, the animatronic laughed softly. The screen turned on again, now showing the theater from above, like a security camera. A red dot blinked in the corner. Rec. A timer appeared. 12:10 a.m. Olivia stared at the screen. "It's watching us." The animatronic suddenly moved fast. Ethan turned to run. And the front doors burst open. Not to the lobby. Not outside. To a bright white hallway with blinking lights and warning signs. A sign above it read, "Controlled access, sister location." The animatronic stopped and pointed toward the hallway. "Employees only," it said. The timer kept counting. And the hallway lights turned red. The red lights in the hallway began to flash. Slow at first. Then faster. A loud alarm echoed from deep inside the building, making the walls shake. The animatronic stepped aside, like it was giving them permission. "Proceed," it said cheerfully. Ethan didn't want to move. Neither did Mia, Lucas, or Olivia. But behind them, the theater lights flickered, and the broken screen sparked again. Something moved in the darkness behind the seats. Ethan swallowed. "We don't have a choice." They ran into the hallway. The doors behind them slammed shut with a heavy boom. The sound echoed down the white hallway, long and loud. The air felt cold. Too cold. The hallway looked nothing like a movie theater. The walls were smooth and white. Red warning lights blinked along the ceiling. Black cables ran along the floor and disappeared into the walls. Lucas whispered, "This looks real." Olivia nodded. "Way too real." A calm voice spoke from hidden speakers. The same cheerful voice from before. "Welcome to sister location," it said. "Please remain calm and follow instructions." Mia covered her ears. "Make it stop." The hallway split into two paths. One glowed blue. The other glowed red. A screen on the wall turned on. Select path. Blue, safety check. Red, performance area. Ethan stared at the screen. "This is insane." Lucas pointed. "Blue says safety." "That's probably a lie," Olivia said. The red lights behind them flickered brighter. A low mechanical sound echoed from the theater side, like something heavy was moving closer. Ethan made a quick choice. "Blue. Now." They ran down the blue-lit hallway. The lights here were softer, but the walls felt closer. The hallway ended at a metal door with a glowing hand symbol. Mia reached for it. The door slid open with a hiss. Inside was a small room filled with monitors. Each screen showed a different part of the building. The theater. The lobby. The hallway they just came from. One screen showed the animatronic standing still in the theater aisle, its head tilted, watching the hallway door. A digital clock blinked at the top of the main monitor. 12:30 a.m. Text appeared below it. Shift 1 active. Lucas stepped back. "Shift?" The cheerful voice returned. "Please complete your tasks to continue." A new screen lit up. Task, reboot light system. A lever sat on the wall under the screen, shaking slightly. Ethan grabbed it. "I think we pull it." He pulled the lever down. The lights in the room flickered. On the monitor, the theater lights turned on briefly. The animatronic froze mid-step. Mia gasped. It stopped. The lever shook harder. A warning sound beeped. Power draining. Olivia pointed to another monitor. Look! On the screen showing the hallway behind them, something crawled along the ceiling. It was smaller than the animatronic from before, but faster. Its eyes glowed faint blue. Lucas whispered, "There's more than one." The lights in the control room flickered again. The cheerful voice spoke, but it sounded slightly distorted now. "Reminder, darkness increases activity." Ethan's heart raced. "We need to keep the lights on." The lever suddenly snapped upward. The room went dark. For 1 second. Then the red emergency lights turned on. On the monitors, the smaller animatronic dropped from the ceiling and landed in the hallway. It stood up slowly, its head twitching. Mia cried, "It's coming!" The screen flashed. Task failed. Retry required. Ethan grabbed the lever again and pulled harder this time. The lights surged back on. On the monitor, the smaller animatronic froze inches from the control room door. Everyone held their breath. The clock changed. 1 a.m. Lucas let out a shaky laugh. "We did it!" The cheerful voice returned. "Good job. Proceed to the next area." A door on the far side of the room slid open, revealing another hallway. This one was darker, with blue lights along the floor. Ethan didn't move. "This feels like a trap." "Everything so far has been a trap," Olivia said quietly. Behind them, the monitors flickered. The frozen animatronic twitched. Just a little. Ethan turned and ran through the open door. The others followed. The new hallway was longer. The walls were covered with warning signs and faded drawings of smiling animatronics. The floor vibrated slightly with each step. At the end of the hallway was a large room with a stage. Animatronics stood on it. More than before. All white. All smiling. All still. Mia whispered, "Don't move." The cheerful voice echoed through the room. "Welcome to the performance area." The doors behind them closed. Locked. The lights dimmed. A screen above the stage turned on. Preparing show. "Please stand still." The animatronic's eyes turned on. One by one. Blue. 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 Lucas backed up. "Ethan!" The animatronics stepped forward at the same time. The lights went out. And something whispered right behind them. Ethan froze. He felt warm breath brush the back of his neck. Not human. Cold. Mechanical. Close. "Don't move," the cheerful voice whispered from the speakers. "Movement increases risk." Mia whimpered. Lucas squeezed her hand. Olivia's eyes were wide, locked on the stage. The lights snapped back on. Blue. Cold. Every animatronic stood just a few steps closer than before. Their smiles were the same, but their eyes were brighter now, glowing like tiny blue stars. A loud ding echoed through the room. The screen above the stage changed. 12:01 a.m. Show in progress. The animatronics began to move. Slow at first. One step. Then another. Their metal feet hit the floor in perfect time, like a dance. Clang. 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 Ethan's heart pounded. "They're getting closer." The cheerful voice spoke again. "Please proceed to the control path." A door slid open to the right side of the room, glowing blue. "No!" Olivia shouted. They ran. The animatronics moved faster. Not running. Gliding. The door slammed shut behind them as they fell into another hallway. The sound echoed, loud and final. The hallway sloped downward. The lights flickered. The walls felt tighter, closer together. Lucas panted. "Where are we?" A screen on the wall turned on. "Control sector, level B." The cheerful voice returned, but it sounded different now. Lower. Less happy. "You are doing very well," it said. "Few reach this point." "That's not comforting," Mia said. The hallway ended at a small room filled with buttons, switches, and screens. In the center was a large glass window looking down into a dark pit. Something moved far below. Ethan stepped closer to the glass. The lights below turned on. Animatronics. Dozens of them. Standing still. Waiting. A digital clock appeared on the main screen. 1 a.m. Text flashed underneath. Task: maintain system balance. A row of 3 switches sat under the screen. Each labeled lights, sound, doors. Lucas frowned. All of them? Yes, the voice replied. Failure is not advised. The lights flickered. The first switch, lights, dropped halfway on its own. Ethan grabbed it and pushed it back up. The room brightened slightly. Below them, some of the animatronics froze. Olivia pointed at another screen. The doors! On the monitor, the performance room doors were shaking. The animatronics were pushing against them from the other side. Lucas ran to the door's switch and pushed it up. The shaking stopped. For a moment. Then the sound switch dropped. A low hum filled the room. A deep noise that made Ethan's head hurt. The animatronics below began to move. The sound! Mia cried. Ethan slammed the switch up. Silence. The animatronics froze again. The screen flashed. 1:45 a.m. Everyone was sweating now. Their arms shook from holding the switches. The voice spoke again. They are learning your pattern. The lights flickered harder. 2 switches dropped at once. Ethan and Lucas scrambled to push them back up. Below, the animatronics began to stack together. Climbing. Reaching. Olivia stared at the glass. They're coming up. The room shook. A loud bang hit the door behind them. Once. Twice. A crack appeared. The clock changed. 2:30 a.m. Mia's voice shook. How long until morning? The voice posed. 3 hours, it said. Assuming compliance. The lights flickered off. Darkness swallowed the room. Something hit the glass. Hard. The emergency lights snapped on, glowing red. One animatronic had climbed up to the window. Its face pressed against the glass, smiling. Ethan screamed. The lights switch snapped down again. Ethan threw his whole weight against it. The lights burst back on. The animatronic froze, its face inches from the glass. The clock jumped forward. 3:15 a.m. The voice sounded tired now. You are close. The door behind them exploded inward. Metal flew. 2 animatronics stepped into the control room. Their eyes locked on Ethan. Lucas grabbed a chair and threw it. It bounced off one of them and clattered to the floor. The animatronics stepped forward. The switches all dropped at once. Everything went dark. Ethan felt hands grab his arm. Mia screamed. No! Ethan shouted. He lunged forward and slammed his fist on the control panel. All switches snapped up. The room exploded with blue light. Every animatronic froze. Mid-step. Mid-reach. The clock flickered. 4:59 a.m. The building went silent. No hum. No movement. No voice. Then, 5 a.m. A loud chime rang through the building. The animatronics collapsed where they stood, hitting the floor like broken dolls. The doors unlocked. Green exit lights turned on. Ethan didn't wait. They ran. They ran through hallways, past silent stages, past frozen smiles. They burst out into the cold night air. Fireworks exploded in the sky. People cheered. It was New Year's. December 31st had ended. They collapsed on the sidewalk, shaking, laughing, crying all at once. Behind them, the theater was dark. Quiet. Empty. Police came later. Workers said the theater had been closed all night. No movie. No tickets. No cameras. No record. At home, Ethan lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. His phone buzzed. A new message appeared. Thank you for attending. Sister Location 6. Please return next year. His bedroom light flickered blue. And somewhere, very softly, a cheerful voice whispered, The show must go on.